Let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture while everyone's kind of coming in the door. All right. So if you don't have your feet on the ground, if you're not sitting in front of your desk and you're sitting cross-legged, just stay cross-legged. But if your feet are down, have them in a nice parallel position so that your legs aren't crossed, about a hip's width apart. And really try and feel the sensation of the feet in the floor, whatever surface you're on. And then for those of you with cross legs, you'll feel the weight of the sensation, the weight of your legs on your feet. And for everyone else, the back of your legs on the surface of your chair. Feel the weight of your sits bones in your chair. Now align your shoulders with your hips and imagine this beautiful string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. So imagine you're putting some space in between your vertebrae, you're lengthening your vertebrae. And then just go to the crown of the head and relax the scalp, the forehead and the eyes, the nose. Relax the temples. Relax the cheeks and the mouth, the back of the tongue, the jaw. Relax the ears, the inner ear, the back of the head, the neck, and allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat, the chest and the belly, and all of your limbs. And notice the sensations of the breath as you inhale and exhale. The air flowing in and out of the nostrils, the expansion of the chest cavity, and then just contraction. It's not really contraction, it's just kind of coming back. But, when we inhale, the ribs are kind of moving in a best 360-degree expansion, not just the front. Think of breathing into the back as well, on the sides. And then you may notice the sensations at the belly. And be aware of sound. Try not to move off with the mind to go and investigate if you hear sound or you smell something, or just allow it all to be there. And then this evening, or in Shrey's case, very early in the morning, just check in with your mind and see how you're doing. What kind of day have you had? What kind of night did you have? And some space in between your thoughts. Just allow them to arise, to abide, and then just dissipate. So the trick is really to try not to follow all the stories, particularly, the stories that aren't necessarily true, or we make up our own little mini documentary about the future. And then we get all emotional about it, and then we discover it's not even true. We kind of wasted all of that mental energy. It's been keeping up a lot of real estate in our brain, in our mind. So think of people in your life that, start with the loved ones and how incredibly important these folk are to us. And then there's all the strangers, So, gosh, we have so many here in this area, so many strangers every day. And then we have ones we don't really like so much. So, due to impermanence, all these different groups of people can change place, interchangeable, these relationships. But regardless of how we feel about any one particular person at any one particular time, they're just the same as you and me in that they want to be happy and they don't want to suffer. And they all have this really extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So we think we'll do this practice this evening for all these people of our life and by extension all sentient beings. So each and every one of you probably has someone in their life, your life, that you feel like you'd, like to motivate to do this practice for. So you can bring those people to your mind. And we start by thinking that there is no negativity that can't be purified. So just let that sentence settle for a moment. This purification process is psychological. So we create negativity with our mind so we can change it equally by creating positivity instead. So we start with the power of regret and sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being in this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. And then in general, regret all. The reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we might experience. We know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as suffering for us. So we think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And then also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So it has two little sections. One is refuge, and one is developing compassion. So why reliance? Well, in this first section on refuge, we turn to Buddha Vajrasattva, who we see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing Buddha Vajrasattva to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So sort of think of this also as a healing practice. And I think Yangtze Rinpoche kind of expressed it that way as well last year in San Francisco. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. And you can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and they're peaceful and they're shaped like lotus petals. And they're full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. And he has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell, representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we've ever harmed since beginningless time. And then maybe think of people who've harmed you, and particularly have compassion for them. This is a wish for them to be free from suffering, because the harm they've caused you is going to result in suffering for them sometime in the future. So we make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and really think, I must purify for their sake. And so now we come to the power of remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Anupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Anupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Anupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Anupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Anupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Anupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Anupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified. And really think that you just imagine you can't do anything to harm anyone with your body now. And next is the purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body. And this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And imagine it's quite forceful, and imagine it overflows and then disappears into space. Not one atom left. So it doesn't pollute or anything. So just imagine all the gossip, the harsh speech, the useless speech, lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by the powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trida Mebawal Situkaya Mebawal Sipukaya Mebawal Anarakta Mebawal Sawasidi Mempi Yatta Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trida Mebawal Situkaya Mebawal Sipukaya Mebawal Anorakta meboa sawazidi mempi yatsa sawakama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita trida meboa situkaya meboa sipukaya meboa anorakta meboa sawazidi mempi yatsa sawakama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita trida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatta sawakama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita trida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatta sawakama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita trida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatta sawakama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita trida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatta sawakama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahom pe. So now again, feel really happy that your speech is completely purified and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech, including yourself. And this, of course, includes what you write, what you post on social media. And next is the purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately again sends powerful beams of light this time from his heart chakra. And it arcs around and enters your crown, enters your heart, filling your entire being. So you imagine you walk into a room, it's pitch black. You flick on the switch, and the light that comes instantly dispels the darkness. So think next time you walk into a room and you turn the light on, think of that. Think of it as dispelling the darkness rather than switching on the light. And so it's the same. You imagine the light comes from Vajrasattva's heart, hits your heart chakra, and now all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your attachments, neediness, bitterness, grudges, depression, anxiety, all of this kind of thing instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatta Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatta Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatta Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatta Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatta Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe. So again, be delighted that all the delusions, which are the source of all of our unsuffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think now that there is no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of the imprints, even these imprints, very subtle level now of negativity of our body, speech, and mind. So this time imagine Vajrasattva sending light and nectar, and start with we do the body again. All the nectar flows down, pushing out all the negativities of the body, then the nectar flows up, pushing out all the negativities of the speech, and then the light comes and kind of blasts all the delusions. And this is happening all at the same time. So thus eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. So really try and imagine that's actually happened. Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Om Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dinapatita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawakama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Om Vajrasafa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dinapatita Drita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So now feel you're completely purified. Not one atom of negativity is left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the fourth and final step in this practice, and that's the resolve, the power of resolve. So it's really crucial, this one. So nothing's going to happen unless we make a decision that that's what we want to do. So we just decide, I want to refrain from harming. So this just gives us a bit of guidance, a bit of a plan that we will refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. And so part of that plan, once we've decided, is, well, how are we going to do that? And first of all, we want to develop some awareness about what it is that we are actually doing that might be harmful to ourselves and others with our body, with our speech, and with our mind. So, and then, first of all, before all that, we rejoice. Rejoice in your effort, just turning up. Actually, just turning up might even be enough for some people. But here's our little resolve. Start with something little. Don't make it a big thing. Don't make it your biggest habit. A little habit, bit by bit. And make a determination that you'll think about it maybe for, I don't know, you might reflect on it. Do a little bit of self-inquiry. Maybe just for 5 minutes. And maybe just do it at the same time every day. Just that little 5 minutes. Or even if you're doing a meditation practice in the morning, include it in there. Just make it easy. Otherwise you won't do it. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light. I'm about to sneeze. No, I'm not. And absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So Rinpoche would recommend here to meditate on emptiness. So he would say like this: in emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So place your mind in this kind of place of emptiness, even if you only know the word. You've only ever heard the word. You haven't received any other teachings on emptiness. You just heard the word bantered about. Place your mind there for a moment. So we can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think the way things appear to me might not necessarily be the way they actually exist. It's always good to question that. And let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So now we do 3 verses of chanting the names of Manjushri for the swift finding of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Venerable Dundrup, do you have that?
Do not.
Oh, see if I don't even know where we're up to. Anybody else? Is Bill here? Bill's here. Bill, do you have it by any chance? Yeah. Bill's not. Okay, we can just leave it for this evening. And let's just thank you so much, Venerable. Let's just dedicate for this long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, for the swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche, for well, his return just to be found. And then think of all of your own individual teachers, so for them to have a long, happy, healthy life. All right, everybody, lots of love, sleep well. I will see some of you tomorrow. Venerable Dondra, thank you so much for stepping in and hosting for us when you probably just want to go to bed or watch Netflix or something. I don't know. Maybe do some prayers. I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much for popping in and doing that.